All right, and you must have turned it on already. I'm not talking about anybody else in the family. I'm talking about your air conditioning. Because if you're talking about occasional 100-degree temperature or even often 90-degree temperatures, it's time for the AC to go on. But what happens if you turn on the thermostat and you got the on switch and nothing happens? You call Steve Day, right? Steve Day is the one that you call at?
Day Advanced Air Conditioning. Excuse me, Day Advanced Air Conditioning.
And it's almost time to keep it on because it's almost June. All right, should we have had the AC checked up already, and is it too late?
No, it's never too late. That's a great question, when to do it. Earlier is better. And the reason being is we have to have time to get the parts in. We have to have time to check the system out properly before the emergency season kicks in. But even in this weather, June's upon us. The real emergency season is going to be later this month when the temperatures start getting up to about 105 and humidity starts rising.
And people here, after all these years, should know that you're going to have to get it checked because you don't want it to poop out in August. But don't you think there's a couple of fear factors? One is the possibility of a major expense that people are afraid of. And they're also afraid that folks are going to come by and do something that isn't necessary.
You're absolutely right. I often hear people say, if it's not broken, don't fix it. And so people are worried to touch the unit, that somebody may damage the unit. And you want to make sure that whoever does work on your unit, they are NATE certified and know what they're doing, because that does make the difference.
Give me the large and small of it. Give me the large and small items that might go wrong.
Well, that's a good point. The large items are your compressor and your coils, and those are your large ticket items, your fans. Those are things that are going to cost you more money. And preventive maintenance should be looking at the little items. So those little items can help protect those big items. And they keep your system online, and they keep it safer. They also keep it more energy efficient. They'll keep you more comfortable. That's peace of mind.
Little items like what?
Well, here's an example that we use. This particular item is an American part. Costs a little bit more money, but we find with the 5-year guarantee on this part alone, this is one of the most important items for to check. And if your service techs come out and at least check the capacitors, this will take care of the compressor, the fan motor, and the outdoor motor.
And what is it called?
This is a capacitor. This particular part here is called a dual run cap, and this takes care of the outdoor compressor and the outdoor fan.
What else?
This here is a contactor, and you'll see in a photo in a minute here that we find these are burned up. And the leads coming in, this is the high voltage coming into the system. This is like your light switch on and off. And if this doesn't work, the system doesn't come on. So the other problem is the voltage coming through is going to wreck the other components. So that's important. Here,
it's a little item with how big a cost?
Well, it varies from different companies. I'll see across the board that these are not real expensive parts. And every technician should have them on the truck, so that'll save the consumer money from having to run and go buy a simple part like this. Larger items obviously have to be special ordered in many cases, and we don't carry those on the truck.
Oh, and that's a long time in a hotel.
Mm-hmm. So this is another item. A lot of people don't know what this is when you talk about a P-trap. They're confused as to what that is. This is what the P comes from, and this traps water in here. And what this does is a safety device, because you don't want methane gas coming up into your air conditioning system. And the other is this, we have a little clean out on this. This is how we set it up on every system we install. And this allows us to keep this trap clean. If this isn't clean, you're going to get water damage, drywall damage, possibly mold in the building.
See, it took Steve Day to come in with an item. I've never seen one of those in my life. So what else do we have?
Okay, well, let me show you this here. This is, again, when we're testing these components, we're going to use this item. And so somebody that's certified, not just a handy person, but you're supposed to be licensed, bonded, and trained, basically. Licensed, bonded, insured, and to be certified to work on this equipment.
You shouldn't be up on the roof if your item is up there anyway, because that alone is dangerous.
Absolutely. Which you raise a good point. Being on the roof in July and August, especially with asphalt shingles, we're going to destroy them. Just walking on that asphalt tears them up. So if you had a brand new roof, get your AC checked before the heat comes on. So this is another item too that we didn't have this type of technology before, but as you can see, this screen shows an infrared, and it allows us to zoom in and take temperature readings very accurately. So we can look at a motor or items and actually be able to see. If you see this, the motor that's sitting on the shelf here, it's got a rusted mark on there, and this here would tell us that that motor is running at 180 degrees and it's going to fail. So why wait till July for failure when we know something is going to happen?
You know, Steve, the whole idea of waiting until all of a sudden the air conditioning doesn't go on as 92 degrees in the house is the reason that I ask if we have, as amateurs in this business, any early indicators that perhaps you ought to call somebody out before it goes off.
Well, that's a great question. I think about cars when I have to pause on that question. Automobiles have check your engine light.
Yes.
Right? You have all these gauges there, and the more sophisticated the cars, the more gauges. We don't have that with air conditioners. Now we have smarter thermostats that are going to be bringing that information to us right on our smartphones now. So those are things that are going to help us. But our industry's still lagging with the technology. It's starting to come, but you still need a technician to come out and take a look at it. Okay, so I think that answers that question there. But what you can do as a customer or a viewer out here is listen to your system. Is if you hear noises, call somebody right away, because noise is an indication of vibration or rubbing or something's going wrong, a bearing.
You've already established the fact that you shouldn't be up there or out there checking things yourself, because you're probably just going to mess it up. It's going to be more expensive. So call somebody like you at
Day Advanced Air Conditioning.
And Day Advanced Air Conditioning is available to you 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, because you want your air conditioner to be available on the same schedule. This is Pat McMahan in the Morning Scramble. Now, aren't you glad you decided on us?